An unbearable aboutness, or what happens when certain worlds are eliminated in favor of others. Khanabadosh is itinerant, so putting out a website became that thing that had to be done. I grew pretty obsessive about it too. To bold or not to bold, that was the question. In the absence of a physical address and monies, I pushed keys for days on end and cut corners to come up with this website, which I now happily trot out at every given opportunity. The website went live over a year and a half ago, and in September this year, Khanabadosh will have completed 3 years of having stuck around. Throughout this time, and indeed even before it, I've been struggling with the About page. I'll give you a moment to just look through it. The About section has undergone more changes than I can remember. In fact, I just tweaked it a touch this morning and is perennially under construction. It has gone through more changes than I can remember. I think I already said that. There have also been times when out of sheer laziness on my account, this section of the website has been blank. While I imagine some of you will roll your eyes and mutter flake, I hope I have the confidence of at least some of you because I'm going to go on regardless. Now then, this about is as tricky as it is because Khanabadosh is hugely wary of essentializations, i.e. the idea that everything has an essence. Because this essence is often a function of what holds true for the majority and mostly at the heart of, broadly speaking, all contentious identity politics. Khanabadosh is not open to the idea of essence. It is simply of the belief that whatever this essence is, it always lies outside of our reach because despite the hubris of our many researches, artistic and otherwise, we will never be able to comprehend the full extent of any context. The notion of a fixed identity, core, root, is rubbish because everything is hybrid. Khanabadosh is predicated on moving away from all manners of aboutness because nothing is ever really what it's about. Instead, it's about all those things that form a mesh around it, and the mesh is never ending. The artistic, and I'm using the word really broadly here, project at large involves cracking the escape velocity required to dodge the echo chamber of essentialized identities. As such, we need to dig, and find out more context to the context. And what better place to begin digging than a city, which a bit like Khanabadosh's About section, is always under construction. One of the key reasons Draft is situated in hyper and at times high-strung urban sites is because these cities, and indeed so many others, are constantly eluding a fixed identity. We are all gathered today in a city which is always hard at work trying to shake off all aboutness that gets thrust onto it. Contemporary art, in all its hybridity, responds to Bombay's complexity and complicatedness, which is why, despite its professed itinerancy, Khanabadosh has no qualms in stating that it is sometimes based in Bombay and on other occasions based out of Bombay. My hard setting of Bombay aside, this multiplicity of interpretation, however, is hardly the sole preserve of Bombay. It is implicit to every context because every context is a combination of infinite amount of variables. Consequently, much like Ashok, who's at this table just now, whose bio states he's interested in everything, Khanabadosh too is interested in everything. It is interested in being a giant big hello to everything. Or to paraphrase writer, feminist, and anarchist Emma Goldman, a giant big hello to freedom, the right to self-expression, everybody's right to beautiful and radiant things. While the aforementioned hello is a pipe dream, it might still be worthwhile to try and understand, albeit within the constructs of knowledge structures, what this everything might imply. To that end, I present Donald Rumsfeld's theory of knowledge.
There are reports that there is no evidence of a direct link between Baghdad and some of these terrorist organizations.
There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Excuse me, but is this an unknown unknown?
I'm not.
Several unknowns, and I'm just wondering if this is an unknown.
I'm not going to say which it is.
But the Secretary,
No, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Rumsfeld's tongue-twister theory is a tough act to follow. But Slavoj Žižek provided the theory a critical addendum when he threw in a monkey wrench of the unknown known. In doing so, he was referencing the Abu Ghraib torture and prisoner abuse scandal. This unlikely coming together of Rumsfeld and Žižek brings us a more complicated way of looking at context than the binary of visibility and invisibility, which is invoked a great deal in relation to artistic and curatorial practices these days. While Khanabadosh eschews aboutness, it is by no measure an evangelist for structurelessness, because the structurelessness shtick has been decried with good reason too, as far back as the 70s. As such, the structure of the mesh has proven most conducive for Khanabadosh. We work at pulling together a mesh from seemingly monolithic, but in fact always hybrid typologies of knowledge, whose futurities are often foreclosed by forces ranging from subjective pathologies to weaponized realities, including capitalized information and fundamentalism. Recently, we extended the mesh with Love in the Time of Choleric Capitalism. We opened the project in Bombay in October last year, and in early 2016, the project travels to the School of Arts and Aesthetics Gallery at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. The project, as it were, started a bunch of years ago when I first came across the translation of Urdu poet and lyricist Sahir Ludhianvi's seductively contrarian Taj Mahal. He wrote this in 1943. In this poem, the left-leaning Ludhianvi urges his lover to meet him someplace other than the Taj, because the Taj is the mausoleum, was a symbol of an emperor's vanity and imperious love. It was, of course, and still is, easy to come under the spell of the poem's zeal. But while we know that the scenario laid out by Ludhianvi is pertinent, we also realize that it is complicated. It is more complicated than his clearly left agenda. The poem stayed with me. In 2013, Delhi-based photographer Rahul Irani visited Dubai. This image is by Rahul. In 2013, Delhi-based photographer Rahul Irani visited Dubai, a town about an hour away from Delhi, when he learned that Saeed-ul Hasan Qadri, a former postmaster of the town, had undertaken the construction of a Taj Mahal replica in the memory of his wife. Ludhianvi's poem may have stayed with me, but now it really came back to me. How indeed would Ludhianvi respond to this new development? How would we have responded to the news of the 79-year-old who spent his entire life savings, i.e. rupees 10 lakhs, on the construction of the mausoleum? In the interest of time, I'll take you through the project by just a way of few images and a video. Otherwise, I could go on. Here you're seeing the details of Let's See by Mona Gandhi. Ludhianvi's Taj Mahal poem was introduced in the exhibition via Mona, who learned the Urdu alphabet while volunteering as a tutor in Kargil, Kashmir in 2003. I should add here that while the Indo-Pak Kargil War occurred between May and July 1999, border conflict between the two nations continued for a few years, but not on the scale of a full-fledged war. Following her time in the Kashmir Valley, Gandhi kept in touch with the language, mostly through her readings of Urdu poetry. The seemingly simple act of writing the poem after some years of not having been actively in touch with the alphabet brings back things full circle for Mona. The process and the subsequent work reflect not only Mona's political leanings, but also her struggle with memories of the conflict and her love for communication, in this case the Urdu language, as a tool for tackling conflict. Looming in the background here is Anant and M.K. Raina's Zora Segal on Zora Segal. In the exhibition, we screened a brief excerpt from the documentary which was made on the occasion of Zora Segal's centenary birthday. Segal died in 2014 at the age of 102. In it, the actress and choreographer weighs in with Faiz Ahmed Faiz' searing gem, Mujhse pehli si mohabbat mere mehboob na maang. Don't ask me for that love again.
मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरी महबूब न मान. मैंने समझा था कि तू है तो दरख्शां है हयात. तेरा गम है तो गमे दहर का झगड़ा क्या है. तेरी सूरत से है आलम में शबानो सार. तेरी आंखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या. तू जो मिल जाए तो तकदीर निगू हो जाए. यूं न था, मैंने फ़क़त चाहा था यूं हो जाए. और भी दुख है ज़माने में मोहब्बत के सिवा. राहतें और भी हैं वस्ल की राहत के सिवा. अनगिनत सदियों के तारीख बेईमानत लिस्म रेशम व अतलस व कमखाब में बुनवाए हुए. जा बजा बिकते हुए कूचों बाजार में जिस्म. खाक में लिथड़े हुए खून में नहलाए हुए. जिस्म निकले हुए अमराज के तनूरों से. पीप बहती हुई गलते हुए नासूरों से. लौट जाती है नजर अब भी उधर क्या कीजिए. अब भी दिलकश है तेरा हुस्न मगर क्या कीजिए. और भी दुख है ज़माने में मोहब्बत के सिवा. राहतें और भी हैं वस्ल की राहत के सिवा. मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरी महबूब.
In that sense, it's looking at that mesh around the Taj. Although Faiz Ahmed Faiz, and this was Zora Segal reading out, reciting Faiz Ahmed Faiz's poem. Although Faiz Ahmed Faiz, one of the most powerful poetic voices to have emerged from the subcontinent, did not contribute to the heaving body of Taj literature, his poem is an apt mirror to Ludhianvi's Taj Mahal. Needless to say, this poem, much like Ludhianvi's Taj Mahal, extends beyond a particular lover or love. This here is a detail of Shimit Raveshia's Goodnight Love. Raveshia is a practicing architect, and here he reflects on the idea of intimacy and mutability by casting the mattress as a trope. The mattress is without doubt one of the most intimate shared spaces. And it is for this personal place that Raveshia invites the viewer into when he employs, for the purpose of his installation, a mattress he had used for almost 8 years before finally discarding it. The mattress as a mausoleum of performed and unperformed desires. In work starts now, Kush Badwar, who is somewhere in the audience, casts a dry, quasi-humorous glance on this process of monumentalization as it plays out in the present, where implacable political czars perennially place icons before people. In this video, which is now an image, in the video, we are introduced to a few chatty workers deconstructing the image of K.V. Rao after his swearing-in ceremony as the first chief minister of India's 29th and newest state, Telangana. This work comes out of Badwar's ongoing engagement with archives in the Telangana context. This related image by Kush was also part of the exhibition, titled 6 Hours Late to His Signing-in Ceremony and Not Invited Either. As it happens, Chief Minister Rao was, 6 hours late for his swearing-in ceremony, for which he had not been invited. Cholera. Cholera entered the exhibition via John Murray. In 1848, the East India Company appointed Dr. John Murray as a civil surgeon of Agra, where he would live for the next 20 years. During this time, he devoted himself to find a cure for cholera and to pursuing his newfound hobby of photography. Through his Agra period, Murray's photographic interests were focused on Mughal architecture with special emphasis on the Taj Mahal. The histories of colonial era photography and science are entwined with the history of the Taj. Compasswala's preoccupation with the history of science and math caused him to reflect on Murray's scientific struggle with both camera and cholera. These images are by Murray, and they're one of the first images made of the Taj. And we got these from the online Met archive. For this purpose, the artist draws on Murray's text, electricity as cause of cholera and or other epidemics, and the relation of galvanism to the action of remedies. It was written in 1849. Compasswala reads this text in conjunction with the yellowing legacy of the Taj. What we have here in the image here is a found work by Compasswala. It's called John Murray's Medical Kit. The object itself has a kind of fascinating history. In its earlier avatar, it was called a violet ray, a medical appliance used during the early 20th century in the obsolete now obsolete therapy of electrotherapy. And today it's best known as a sex toy that goes by the name Violet Wand. In conclusion, in a heavily mapped out world, Khanabadosh is interested in being compulsively adrift in the midst of themes and or provocations connecting oftentimes seemingly unrelated dots that circumvent aboutness. And clearly we take this very seriously because in the opening night, we even circumvented the aboutness of the title of the exhibition when we accidentally put this up. Thank you.